one more match.
And to stay alive, and for the number 1 seed may contain nuts, like Gibbs said, dropping down from Crazy Crew, the number 32 seed, you got to feel like a little bit more pressure is on them.
And so we are already underway here, game 1. J-Wolves up here pushing forward for May Contain Nuts. Marked by 8, able to find a touch off the ceiling, but couldn't find a teammate. Still, Clay X is there as well. Shot knocked away from J-Wolves. The demo to try to slow it down, but again, Arju there early for May Contain Nuts. So far, not too much action. ARG have tried to push a couple of times. Marked by 8. He's challenged just off the back wall. And that's not a good touch from him. J-Wolves tried to take advantage, but he just missed wide of the post. May Contain Nuts, an opportunity squandered.
Yeah, a little bit of an opening for J-Wolves there, just wide of the net. But you can see the intention, playing with intention here, finding each other on the walls, setting each other up for success. And so far, May Contain Nuts living up to their number 1 seed name.
And Clay X ended up giving possession away, but GCR was there to take it away on the demo. And Ixo on the challenge, can't find the ball against GCR. ARG just poking holes here at May Contain Nuts, trying to find an opening instead. Is May Contain Nuts getting a lot of solid challenges in midfield. J-Wolves waiting for this touch. It's knocked away from him. Arju staying with it towards Ixo. Can't find his man. ARG again good in front of the box, have not allowed more than 2 shots here in the first 2 minutes. GCR, that shot,
he got it over him.
Net over the defender, and it's 1-0 for ARG.
Great from GCR to get up, and Clayx just trying to push this one out, and he actually bumps off of Arju and Ixo a little bit late to the challenge, and GCR so quick to get up and over, drop it down, and ARG on the board first.
And there were a couple of times May Contain Nuts, it looked like they had something going, but ARG, good job locking down onto the corner, marked by 8. He dribbles it by 1 off to the sidewall. Isn't going to do much just yet. A quick pass out from Clay X, maybe looking for somebody on the other side. And nothing yet here. May Contain Nuts, just kind of the ball being knocked away, and really they can't follow it up. Arju actually gets back to this one, and a shot off the crossbar. Trying to follow it up is Ixo from J-Wolves. Nothing going here for May Contain Nuts.
Chances are coming for May Contain Nuts, but it's just about the accuracy right now. J-Wolves has had a couple good looks. One in particular was their first drive down the field, but here comes GCR and gang as they actually bump into each other and put it off the backboard.
And the transition may be dangerous because of that double commit. Marked by 8, puts it out to the corner. Followed up by Clay X. He caught it out to give it back to Marked by 8. Saw May Contain Nuts starting to put on the pressure, and now ARG find themselves in the blue half again off that pass on the defensive end. And ARG trying to get this ball away, but Ixo wins the challenge. Backboard still defended by ARG. It's been pretty slow for the most part. Not a ton of shots for either team. 5-3 right now on the shots. May Contain Nuts with that 2-shot advantage. Other than that, though, the defense by both squads has really been solid.
Yeah, a little bit of some back and forth here, kind of jostling for midfield priority as both teams kind of skipping over it and playing it past the first defender here. Marked by 8 trying to meet Arju in the midfield. With a minute and a half left, while you feel like May Contain Nuts have had a couple opportunities, they haven't been able to convert, and talk about converting. It's Clay X coming through, high flying from the midfield, and he drops it down for a 2-goal lead.
And that challenge initially by Marked by 8 in the midfield, he had one challenge in midfield, and then he came back around and made the challenge on the right side of the field, which opened that entire play up. Ball advantage after that challenge, and Clay X is there for it to pick up the goal. And while they've shot less and maybe not have generated a ton of pressure, ARG have the 2-goal lead here against May Contain Nuts. Again, GCR up high for this one as well. And May Contain Nuts, it hasn't been easy for this team today. More than a couple of games going more than 3, and it's less than you would expect from the number 1 seed. and taken out now, but GCR pushing forward. That shot blocked by Arju, and the follow-up is always there. The next follow-up is there for May Contain Nuts, but they're always finding an orange defender in their way when they're trying to get that third touch or that midfield challenge that'll get them through to the orange half. J-Walls, one more chance here. Tries to go under. Blocked.
ARG doing a good job of really stopping up. Here's Ixo, though, off the crossbar. J-Wolves can't find the back of the net. Completely denied by the ARG defense, and they stand tall with their 2-goal lead.
And Arju trying to keep this close. ClayX having none of it. A great pass to Mark by 8. He can't put it on target. But really, for ARG, you're just killing time off the clock. Arju up for this. May Contain Nuts looking for a goal with time left. They're not going to get it as GCR plays it out to the corner, and ARG able to pick up game number 1 here against May Contain Nuts in the lower bracket.
May Contain Nuts, or excuse me, ARG walking away with a game 1 victory here off of some counterattacks, off of just being at the right place at the right time. ClayX coming through on that second goal, and for May Contain Nuts, again, the chances were there. They have 9 shots in this game, and there's a couple that should have absolutely been goals. It's talking about accuracy at this point. And for them, they get their game number 1 out of the way, get game number 1 out of the way on stream. And for May Contain Nuts, it's about bouncing back here in game number 2.
And it was neutral for most of the game, but for the second goal here, ClayX, he puts this ball into the net. But right before that replay, there was that challenge by Mark by 8 right there in midfield that set that entire play up. If you're May Contain Nuts up in the air, I actually couldn't see right there who it was. I think it was Ixo in the air. He couldn't make the touch, and tough coming off the ceiling, off the challenge. And ARG just, they didn't get a lot of chances, but they took advantage of the ones that they had.
Absolutely, that's what you have to do. Kind of reminiscent of Nordavin earlier today, where it felt like they did let the other team really come in and put pressure on them, but if they can counterattack and put together quality chances when it counts, come out with a win here and a shutout, more importantly, against our number 1 seed here in May Contain Nuts, who have been in an absolute tear coming into the rival series, a very strong team. And even after their loss, they've been 3-0s. They had to go to 5 games with Team Echo Zulu. But other than that, May Contain Nuts have really just been kind of cruising through these play-ins. And so now you come against our ARG and they drop the first game. ARG kind of has to feel a little bit of some confidence after taking down game number 1.
Yeah, especially because ARG didn't necessarily generate a ton of offensive pressure, and if you were May Contain Nuts, you're going to want to try to find control of the pitch here, try to find a way to consistently win this midfield boost battle and start generating some pressure of your own. They are down heading into game number 2, and up already is GCR looking for a shot, or at least a pass down to Mark by 8. Laterally against the side wall, a huge whiff, and ARG get an early goal.
So the last defender here was not expecting this one to come off of Mark by 8, and it just goes right over his head in such a strange way. It catches him out, and ARG on the board first.
So again, ARG, those first few touches, net them a goal 20 seconds in. May Contain Nuts. J-Wolves trying to find his way back to this. Now he's forced to retreat. GCR on the point here for ARG. And J-Wolves, that ball gets away from him there, just trying to clear it out to the corner. It's been unsuccessful. Arju off the backboard there as well. May Contain Nuts holding down the fort for now. And they get a much-needed clear. J-Wolves looking for Ixo, and is challenged by ClayX. Marked by 8 on the transition, up high off the backboard. Not the best touch from Arju. ClayX has a tough time getting up as well. And GCR around the corner, so it looked like it may have been dangerous, but May Contain Nuts now headed the other way.
J-Wolves finding a great touch, met by Mark by 8. Really haven't seen too much offense coming out from May Contain Nuts, and for ARG, they're playing in such a way as soon as I say it, though, they might give up a goal. Mark by 8's racing back to his net, but they're playing in such a way that is making it so tough for May Contain Nuts. The frustration to come in and have every single one of your shots turned away and immediately have a defender in your face. It's making it a tough life for May Contain Nuts.
And Mark by 8 finally got one of his corner boosts as well. All three members of ARG had 0 boosts on for about 10 seconds on that push. May Contain Nuts couldn't find a shot on net. They did a good job locking it down, and now able to pick up the midfield boost as well and just neutralize the effort here from May Contain Nuts. RG has plenty of time to get this ball in the corner. Marked by 8 takes a bad angle on it, but still a monster clear from GCR. Takes it himself off the corner. ClayX is there. He's past J-Walls. But again, Ixo on the line. He plays it out to the corner. May Contain Nuts. A light shot down. RG is going to be able to pick it up. And there hasn't been really a solid shot opportunity for ARG on these last few possessions. May Contain Nuts haven't really struggled too much here on the blue half.
They really haven't been able to find a way out. You can see RG was trying to pick up the dribble there, but immediately met by an ARG player. That one goes right over GCR. ClayX able to pick that one back up, but for ARG now sitting on a 1-goal lead. Some threatening shots coming through from May Contain Nuts, but again, just can't find the back of the net with 2 minutes left.
And Arju finding a touch out to J-Wolves. Ixo respecting the net was completely covered.
Oh, it's in!
Takes the corner and gets the goal off the bounce, and we're equalized.
In kind of the same way that Mark scored earlier off the pinch, off the sidewall there, Ixo puts it into the corner, and it gets that perfect bounce into the net. The defender was caught off guard just enough, and we're tied up.
And off the kickoff, again, it hasn't been an offensive star show for either of these teams. Just been clear the ball down, a shot, laser just above the crossbar. Ixo trying to keep it close, marked by 8. Aggressive on the challenge, almost netted a shot opportunity for ClayX. It was defended. Now ClayX looking for the pass, blocked by J-Wolves. Good idea. Now in danger, Ixo looking for J-Wolves. The touch wasn't strong enough, but Arju's there. Shot wide off the post. No good for May Contain Nuts.
Another close call for May Contain Nuts where you feel like it should have gone in. They should be up by 2-1, but they can't convert once more, and ARG get away with one.
Good catch by J-Walls, but a better challenge by Mark by 8. Puts the ball back in the corner, and that's been the problem for May Contain Nuts is they try to possess in the orange half. J-Wolves on the challenge, trying to grab an opportunity. Shot up high by Arju, trying to pull it up off the backboard. Nothing happening right now for May Contain Nuts on the offensive end. And running with it is GCR. ClayX off the backboard and saved by Ixo. He plays it out to the corner.
Great save coming out from Ixo there, but still ARG looking very dangerous. This one trying to go over Arju, still dangerous ball. Ixo again coming down from the heavens to put that one away and get out.
Such a defensive battle. 5 saves for May Contain Nuts, 4 for ARG. And that one boomed downfield here for May Contain Nuts. Responded with ARG's boomer. A lot of these touches just high. It's hard for really either team to immediately follow up on some of these touches. And it makes the positioning awkward at some points, expecting a touch to come down. Arju up high for this as time expires in regulation. Can't find the touch, and we have overtime.
And what's interesting about this game is both teams are kind of doing the same thing. They're trying to keep the ball away from the other team, but they're not really keeping possession. There are a lot of balls being thrown downfield. You see another one here coming out from ARG, and it's almost returned back. Ixo over to Arju. Arju had to react to that one, and here comes May Contain Nuts into overtime.
And it's really Arju there on that play, trying to force it himself off the corner. No one from May Contain Nuts wanted to commit on the play either. And you might see that turtle effect come in. ClayX trying to make it happen. A good challenge by Mark by 8 to keep it in play. Mark by 8 shot off the post and off the second post. Ixo on the return, blocked by ClayX. A great challenge in midfield. His teammate was going to be in danger unless he could have made that touch. And another good touch. Arju catches it out midfield, wins a good challenge off the ramp. No quick follow-up coming, but J-Wolves is there. Ixo off the backboard, straight down in front of the box. But again, the pressure not forthcoming here from May Contain Nuts, playing safe like they have really all game long here in game number 2.
And I can't blame them for that. A lot of respect given to the defense of ARG because they've been there consistently in the last 2 games.
Well, J-Wolves just trying to get some space between the back wall and the ball. Arju out to the corner as well. But still pressing our ARG. GCR works his way across the box. And it's just one after the other. Doesn't work off the ceiling, but You see there, GCR hesitated, just didn't like the angle that he had. A great pass, looking for the 1-2 back around. Arju, he can't set anything up either. Backboard defense on both ends really has been solid. There haven't been, I can't think of more than one mistouch that's happened, and it really has resulted in this 2-minute overtime, 1-1, a slugfest defensively.
Yeah, really both defense doing a great job here in this game. ARG definitely being a little bit more aggressive as they move down the field, and it's really just because they have that one game series lead right now. May Contain Nuts don't want to go down by 2 goals here in the best of 5, and they don't want to go out of this tournament.
And again, Arju cutting off the angle. Ixo up high, it's going to be just off the backboard, and then the touch. Arju does catch this out. Tries to move past Mark by 8, but he's there on the challenge. Flying in is J-Wolves. Mark by 8 has just done a great job all game long, controlling, stopping any kind of drive May Contain Nuts has tried to put together, and moving his team down the pitch as well. Really impressed with what he's been able to do in this game. 6
saves total for ARG, 3 of them coming out from Mark by 8. A great defensive effort from him. Almost 3 minutes into overtime, both these teams honestly have had a shot at taking it in overtime here, but the defenses have just been so strong.
And again, Mark by 8, the last man back, just trying to buy some time. GCR flying across laterally, gets it back to Mark by 8, and that challenge,
oh, he put it in!
The goal, he forces the own goal. ARG go up 2-0 in the series.
And you feel like Ixo probably could have gotten this one after 3 minutes of overtime. Ixo puts it into his own net. He was stretching out for him. It was a tough play either way. In the end, ARG 1 game away now to taking down our #1 seed in May Contain Nuts.
Really, overall, impressed with the way both of these teams have played, but ARG in particular and GCR, that last challenge, flying across laterally, Mark by 8 was already there on his way back. Just such a smart idea, because he knew the only man back was, who's the third player on that team? ClayX. ClayX was racing back towards the net. It would have been a dangerous 2v1 opportunity. Instead, GCR flying across, he finds the challenge, which opened up the net for them, because May Contain Nuts, they thought they had an opportunity going the other way.
A very strong defensive effort really for both of these teams at the end of the day, but ARG come out on top here. Now let's remember, this is not a qualifying spot for the rival series, but it does knock out one of these two teams. So obviously they don't want to lose here. They're out of lives. They're in the lower bracket. And ARG up by 2-0. It's going to take a reverse sweep from our #1 seed in May Contain Nuts to come back in this one.
And if you're May Contain Nuts in this series, the own goal doesn't feel good, but it was a tough save. Ixo just has to, wipe it off his shoulder. 0-0, 5 minutes heading into Game 3. And May Contain Nuts, earlier in the upper bracket, they lost to a 33 seed. So if they were able to make it this far, clearly they are a team that has a lot of metal to them. They're able to just bounce back, and you expect this team to try to work out some of these kinks. And really, there aren't that many kinks for May Contain Nuts. It's just ARG have gotten that one. It's been one challenge has been the difference in this series. And so heading into game number 3, if you are May Contain Nuts, finding a way through, how do you punch through this ARG defense?
And that really is the question, because it's not like May Contain Nuts aren't generating the chances. It's not like they're getting pushed into their own half and they can't break out. It's about breaking down the defense of your opponent. They might just squeak one by again. It's ClayX and Mark by 8. They get the first goal.
Mark by 8 on the initial challenge, and ClayX just places it perfectly down to Mark by 8, who slips it under. Arju coming down, figures probably has a chance in midair, but Mark by 8 instead just squeezes it onto the ground, makes it more difficult for Arju to land and make the save.
60% of the goals here in this series have come from Mark. ClayX forcing 2 to go from May Contain Nuts, as they still find themselves on defense. ARG have done such a great job of shutting down the offense. Now that's a dangerous pinch going back the other way.
Yeah, not the best challenge from Mark by 8 on the play. See if Ixo get a touch out. He can't find it. Arju looking for J-Walls. He's got him. J-Walls trying to chase it down over towards Ixo. And that's been the story for May Contain Nuts, as they get the touch on the backboard, but nothing's there. Mark by 8 is a one-on-one opportunity, but he just a weak shot or a weak touch at all.
He had the near post open. He just couldn't get over it to get that power. He would have beaten that last defender, unfortunately giving it away, but still a 1-goal lead for ARG.
And waiting for it is Ixo. May contain nuts. You can see they're starting to really feel the urgency. Trying to kick this ball downfield. You're already down 1-0 in a lower bracket match where you have no more lives left if you're the number 1 seed. And Arju just kind of kicks that one away, and no one was going to be available for May contain nuts on the play. You really have to question on that play. You'd like to see him carry that one down.
Well, I mentioned it in the first game, and it was definitely true. They played with a lot more intention, but all of a sudden, May contain nuts really haven't shown any control of what they want to do with the ball. It's just been kind of popping it up. You're seeing a lot more of the solo plays come out now, not seeing any of the passing. And for May contain nuts, it's just not working. ARG are just not falling for it. And it's been the story for the last 2 games.
Arju tries to flick it over. May contain nuts. Ixo looking for J-Walls, but J-Walls eliminated off the play. ARG marked by 8, 1 flick. And challenged by J-Walls. Crossed the way is Ixo. He can't put it on target. That's the best chance May contain nuts have had all game 3. They've only registered 1 shot on net halfway through this game. ARG with 5 shots of their own, a 6th here, maybe getting a 2nd goal. Marked by 8, slowing down the touch for GCR.
And more saves coming out from May contain nuts, and it feels like the midfield is a free-for-all for ARG. Nobody from May contain nuts is there. And you're seeing ARG kind of play with the ball wherever they want. Clayx on the turnaround, can't put it into the back of the net. It takes J-Wolves racing across to get that one out.
And a couple of times, May contain nuts, they've tried to possess the ball out of their own half, but ARG, they've done a great job of changing gears when they've needed to. May contain nuts have thrown multiple styles at them, boom the ball down the field, control the ball. ARG have responded every which way with aggressive challenges, having the third man play it safe back. This one off the backboard, looking for a shot. Instead, GCR just keeping it away from Arju for as long as he can. Marked by 8 has the beat on this ball as well. Can he get back to it? No, but he is at least going to go contest the corner boost. Don't believe he got it. GCR still hunting for the ball. And Clayx also committing on the play. A chance for May contain nuts. Squaring up against Marked by 8 is Ixo. J-Wolves picking this up, but he's getting harassed in the corner, and it's thrown away again. ARG that time just stealing away possession, killing more time off the clock. And I say killing time in a 1-goal game, but you really feel like ARG have just controlled the pitch for the majority of this game. 2 players right now on May contain nuts sitting on 0 or 25 boosts. They are getting starved right now by ARG. It is tough to get out of their own half.
Absolutely. With all the pressure, it's the good news for May contain nuts. Even with all the pressure that ARG is putting on, they just need 1 break to tie up this game, and it's got to come in the next 40 seconds.
And a quick pass out from Marked by 8, looking to finish this series right here with this goal. Arju, touch got away from him. Marked by 8, looking for the demo. He gets it, but nobody was expecting that from ARG.
He missed.
That's wide open off the miss. GCR gets the insurance with 23 seconds to go.
And ARG, it might be enough for them to punch their ticket to the next round here. Of course, not a qualifying game for the rival series, but still for ARG, this is a massive win.
They came in as the number 4 seed, also dropping to the lower bracket. Hard to even think about calling it an upset against a 3-seed difference. It has felt even for most of this game, but the difference has been boost. Pitch control and the ability to just field awareness, all around just solid play from ARG. Time expires. May contain nuts eliminated from the rival series play-ins. ARG 1 match away from making the European rival series.
And ARG held May contain nuts in 3 games to 1 goal. It came in the 2nd game, halfway through. Ixo found the back of the net. but May Contain Nuts just had no offense and no goals to show for it.
And there were several times where they had the opportunity to do it, but give credit to ARG's defense. The last goal that sealed the deal right here from GCR, and all set up by Mark by 8.
And what can you say? It's a great demolition coming out. J-Wolves has to react. Maybe he couldn't see the ball so much or was surprised by the way it was coming because of the demolition, but either way, a big whiff ends up giving them the goal here. And ARG do take down May Contain Nuts. Again, not a qualifying match. ARG move on to the next round. I believe they play full YOLO and play. So that's their next opponent moving along here. But for ARG, massive win, a 3-0 win over the number 1 seed.
There, we have a few more matches to go. Still a couple of spots in the rival series to flesh out. We got more games coming after the break. The European rival series play-ins have been insane. It'll continue after the break.